Okay, Lydia, you can do Applique in version 8. It is not as quick. They've added some new tools to 9. And I think you've already found that your Applique tools are in your digitized toolbox. And so that's why mine did look different from yours. I was using 9 to create that. I want to show you first of all the plain Applique tool that is included, which is pretty neat in itself. But what you'll do when you select it is you'll draw your shape by hand. I'm just doing part of the A. No, we're not going to use these. It's too crazy. But when I touch, and I don't even have to close it, but when I touch enter, there are my 3. There's my tack down, my placement, my tack down, and then my cover. So that's pretty neat. And then if you need to change anything, they are grouped together. Let's see, H. Yeah, there's my reshape. So if I go in now and I want to alter any of these tag along and they change as well. So it's a nice tool, and I have that in 9 also. So you won't lose that if you were to upgrade. But let's go ahead and close this out for now. Save. We won't save that mess. And these are going to hang here for a little bit. It's kind of an afterthought or a memory, and we'll just leave that alone. I'll get myself a new page, and then that disappears so that you can begin again. So under your toolboxes and your digitize, I'm going to first start with my lettering, and I'm going to right click to get this to come up. And what I've decided to do is, rather than putting in the whole word, let's do just MA and then duplicate and move it, because we already know that we're going to have to edit that M. Those corners are very slim, the angles are really close together. So that's what's causing those odd stitches. So I've made an executive decision, and we're going to do, let me cap lock, Ma, and we're going to use your Super Disco. I'm going to start with a 2-inch height and hit apply. And then you touch your screen, of course, to make the letters come up. Now, I want to go ahead and make these 3 inches tall without making them any fatter. So this is the reason I was doing that. And I'm going to leave the X and Y alone for now. So my width is 3.5. I'm going to unlock this so that I can change my height without changing my width. Now this may sound a little confusing until we get the second Ma on here. There's a reason I'm doing that. It's just to give the letter a little more height, and enter. Without being, now that's looking a little snug in my eye. Let's do this. And the width is 4. So that tells me that my final width is going to be about 8 inches. We could nudge it just a little bit more. Okay, so these corners are what's giving us trouble, and I'll show you how to fix those. So we're going to begin with these letters, and then I'm going to go to the Edit toolbox and go to Outlines and Offsets. Now you can put several of these in at once, but so I'm going to take this off. I had done that, and then I forgot that I was going to have to alter my M, so there's no point in doing these all at once. Do one, and then we'll work from that. By selecting this one, I'll be sure and get the lines for my the center of my A, and it doesn't matter what color. I do want just a single for what we're about to do, and we'll say OK. Now I can eliminate this, and it's that M that I know that angle is not going to be attractive when it actually sews. The center of the A works out just fine, but if you did want it to be more open, this is the time to do that. So, are they together? Can I select one? Let's see. Yes, I can select just the M. Okay, so I'll use my magnifying glass, and I'm going to go in here tight. And I want to select this line. Let's go ahead and go to the reshape. I touch H on my keyboard to get these to come up, but this is your reshape tool. And once you do that, then you get the nodes that you can work with. And we already know that this does not sew nicely, and I think I'm going to take it away from the center part. So we'll use the nodes that are already there. And the only reason I halfway know where I want these to move to is because I've played with this several times. Now I've got a straight node there that I'd like to be a curve, so I've selected it. I'm going to touch spacebar on my keyboard, same thing with this guy, to make those a curve. This one, I'll just move over here, and I'm just using a trackpad, Control Z. I'm using a trackpad, so it's, and I'm balancing the second laptop on my lab, so this all looks a little awkward, but it's okay. So now I can select several of these at once. What have I got? 3 or 4 of them. And I'll use my arrow key, and then I can move that over. Let's select these 3 and my right arrow key to move those over. And so you want to get this shape right where you want it. Now that's not attractive. Let's do that. And as few nodes as possible to get the point across is the best way to operate. I'm going to touch my magnifying glass and come in here close. I don't need that one. I'll go and make that a curved one. Yeah, that gives a little pizzazz. Okay, 0 on my keyboard shows me everything in screen. And I mean, while we're at it, I'm going to go ahead and change some of these to rounds and eliminate some that I don't need. And you'll just have better luck with the see how that opened that up as well. So that's great. I think I want to keep these as a. Let's move this one instead. I'm going to go ahead and leave those as straight, so they'll be angles. We can round some of this. I mean, you can piddle with it all day long, but you've got a little one. I know you need to get your sewing done and then do what you need with the little one. Okay, so I'm not going to make any changes to our A, and I'm going to call this good. Now, I want to go ahead and save this as I'm working. File. Let's save it as Ma, and just wherever you need to save it is fine. And we'll save. And now I'm not liking the looks of this once I've played with it. H. Let's round those off. Get rid of a couple. Okay, I've got to leave it alone. Quit messing around. Okay. Okay, really. Good, stop. And now I'm about to show you a different applique tool. So I'll close the edit tab, if it will. May not, that's okay. And we're going to go to the digitize tab again. And this time we're going to look at advanced applique. And the way this works, where the cross hatch are, it's kind of a lace fill. that's where you're going to put fabric or a color. You don't have to put fabric at this stage, but you can. So I'm just going to select place fabric and color in patches, and then I'm going to jump down to place color in patches, and it doesn't matter what I choose. I'll just select something, and with the advanced applique, when this has that true netting, I can touch, and I'm going to go ahead and give that second one just to make it kind of easy. Here, let's get a blue. Just easy to keep the part, I'm pointing at the screen, you can't see that, to keep these parts easier to see. I've dropped down and got myself a blue color chip. And what it's done is just that simple. It has made the 3 parts that you need. Now to exit this doesn't seem right, but this is how it works. You'll hit back, and then you hit close. So now what you've got are 3 1 2 1 2 1 2. Okay. So what I want to do, because we haven't assigned any stitch components yet. Now, while I'm thinking about it, I'm going to go ahead and take off underlay. I don't need underlay in anything that I'm doing. Let's Control All and make sure the underlay is turned off. Okay, so if I come up here to, you can move these individually. You know, just scooting one up, touching the arrow, or however you're used to moving them. But you can also come here to Design and Optimize Color Changes. And this is going to take it from, not sure this is going to do what I want, from 5 to 1. That's right, that's right. And we'll say OK. Let me try again. Optimize. Wish to continue, yes. I thought it would really move them in order. I think it's because I haven't ungrouped them. Control U will ungroup. Let me try once again. I'm just that stubborn. Design. Optimize color changes. It might take break apart, and I really don't want to do that just yet. Here I go. Okay, so break apart, you're going to find under Edit, and you'll scroll down. I'm on a tiny little screen here. Break apart. Now let's try this. Design. Optimize color changes. That makes more sense. 5 to 3. So that puts my, so remember that you do need to break it apart. So that gives me my placement line, my tack down line, and then my the cover stitch, what goes on top. This one, see, and those are still grouped. Control Ungroup. Okay. Just my personal preference, I like to have a length of about 3. I don't need tiny stitches, just telling me where I'm going to set my fabric. So I'm going to do a single length of 3, and the variable run is what will give you nice corners or places that it's round. It's really not going to come into play here, but I'm going to go ahead and change that to 2 as a minimum stitch length, and we'll hit apply. Okay, so that's your placement line. Now what I would do here is go ahead, let me think this through. Do I want to go ahead and place it? No, I'm going to hold off till I get the whole thing done. Okay. I'm sorry, but this is how my mind wanders. For a tack down, I was just looking to see if I missed something for applique. I didn't. It's just not there. Let me close that. For the tack down, I was looking for something besides the zigzag, but the zigzag will work. I want my spacing at 3, and then I want my width. So even though I've got my software in inches, I can put in millimeters on the fly as I'm working. I want my width at I'd say 2 millimeters. So I typed in mm so that it doesn't try to go 2 inches wide on me, and we'll say apply. And so that's going to hold down your rectangle of fabric that you would put on here. Now look at this. That's kind of funny. Let's see what we can do about correcting it. I mean, it would probably be okay. And again, it's because there's so many nodes. Let's get rid of that one. Still not clearing it much. It might want me to move some of these. No. I think on that one we're just going to have to trust that it will hold it. I want to be careful and not move them too much, because see how I got away from that original line. So I think I'm just going to back everything up. Back where it was originally, so those lines line up again, not fret over it. Okay. And the crazy thing moves spaces on me. Let's put it back. Back. Oh, that works. Okay. Let's leave it. And this represents fabric. We really don't need it. So I'm going to delete it. Just to give myself room to see everything that I do need to see. So the final one is going to be a satin stitch. Control Z. See, I went to fill instead. We need this one. That's going to cover nicely, just like it is. And I don't want an underlay. If you do, you would just include an underlay. Let's look at the whole thing. And so it looks like mine could have still used some work in here. And I wondered that if I was getting too close. But it's all personal preference. You know, where your stitches lay. If you do want them closer together, depends on the fabric you're using, you can change to manual. And I don't think I'd go closer than 35. But this is all up to you. And also the offset could be set. Let's see where that goes for us. Let's change this one to the offset too, if it'll let us. It doesn't. Okay. Let's put this back. Oh, it's kind of cute, isn't it? It's like a little ruffle that's hanging out, but we won't do that. Okay, so now I've got everything. I've got the 3. And I'm going to select everything and Control D to duplicate, and they come in grouped together, so that I should be able to take my right arrow and just move this along. But what we did with this was we saved ourselves redoing the M twice and still keeping everything in order. Somewhere in there. Okay, let's touch 0 on your keyboard to see everything. Okay. And then what did we end up with for size? Well, Control Alt, select everything. So we ended up with a design that's about almost 9 inches wide and about 3 inches in height. And now I want to be sure that I zero it in my hoop. Touching 0 to show it in my screen. And the way we have it set up right now, it's split up into 2 groups because that's how we created it. Let's Control All. Let's try this design. Optimize color changes. Okay, and they are all grouped together. Control U to ungroup. Try it once again. Design. Optimize color changes. Let's go into break apart. And try it once again. Design. I don't think I'm there yet. So you could just move them. Next one is I could just go here, and then you have them all. So let's run the stitch player. And so if you do want these to sew in the order like we read it, M-A-M-A, you may have to still do some rearranging. But you can do Applique in version 8. Don't give up.